How does it feel to be back home in Israel? Back to Maccabi, you left as a young prodigy, and you came back as with your family of your own.
First of all, it's an amazing feeling to come back home for many reasons, and there are many aspects of a decision as a professional athlete that comes into mind when you make a decision like that, and one of obviously the main reasons are your family and what do you expect of yourself to provide to your family, and being home and in a manner that what we want to teach our daughters to to become the women they can become. So it makes everything a lot easier for us from our perspective.
If you look back at the NBA, the 10 years, what was the satisfying experience for you? How satisfying was it?
First of all, it was very satisfying, and I think I was privileged to be in this position to play basketball in the best league in the world, to represent Israel in some capacity, whatever it may be. But the thing I'm really excited about, and kind of when I look back, I say, in some way, I feel like I have a small part of helping kids dream of playing basketball in that level. And now I see, 18-year-old, you know, young men coming out of high school saying, publicly, hey, I want to go to the NBA. I want to be a star in this league. And this is very uncommon, 15 years ago. When I played in junior team, the emphasis was, yeah, try to make it to the first division. Maybe you get to Maccabi and you might be a player within the team. And now you see, players are dreaming to compete at the highest level, and I love having a small part of that.
When you started in the NBA, you were representing Israel, but then you kind of also represented the Jewish people as a whole. How did that affect your peers, both in the NBA and then the effect it had on world Jewry itself also?
Well, first of all, I always felt very comfortable in this position to be Israeli and to be Jewish. I never hid it from anyone, anytime. In a sense that I'm very proud of who we are as people and who we are as a country, and what are we really about. And so that raised out a lot of questions, obviously, during the years. What is Israel about? What is this story with the conflict? Is Israel fault? What's the situation there? And one of the things I felt like I had small part of is to start a foundation, obviously a nonprofit, and to have a small part of helping improve the Israel image in the sense of the communities around the U.S. And obviously bringing celebrities, that's exactly what I thought at the time, is bringing celebrities and using social media to our benefits, and helping create a good narrative of Israel around the U.S. and helping kids to see that in a bright light. So I'm very proud of being in that position, and I'm very thankful for the Jewish community that embraced me to one of their own. It doesn't matter, it's Orthodox, Reform, whatever the case may be. They really welcomed me into the family, and it was amazing, to be a part of it.
How did that experience strengthen your Jewish roots? Just, coming to a foreign country and being taken in by those families.
It obviously I think one of the strongest things as people that we have is to be a part of a community, to have some sort of a backbone. You get to a new city and suddenly you're a part of something, and you're not just by yourself. And that put a lot of thought in my mind as I say, well, as Israeli, when you grow up, you never really see Judaism as necessarily a big part of your daily routine, right? Because you feel Jewish. Obviously, everyone around you, most of them are Jewish, and suddenly you get to a country and Yom Kippur is just another ordinary day, and if you don't emphasize it in your own private life, you can lose the focus of that. So, in that regard, it made me kind of think, what are some of the things that I want to emphasize to my daughters and to my wife, and what are some of the values that we as Jewish people have and had over the years, and my grandfather, etc. And these things always, kind of brought me back to full family life and Judaism.
How excited are you to have the opportunity to play with Denny Avdia, Yovel Zusman, up-and-coming players, and these are guys that are striving to be in the NBA. How do you feel? What can you give to them as being an NBA pro?
Just a little bit, in a sense of experience. These guys are the future of Israeli basketball. They already are the present, maybe, of the Israeli basketball. From the national team perspective, for their own careers, there's nothing going to make me more proud of to be a small part of their evolution as basketball players. I think one of the things that I still remember is when I got to the NBA 10 years ago, Francisco Garcia welcomed me and said, Omri, I'll take you under my wing. I'll show you the roots. I'll show you the ins and outs of the NBA. And the more you learn early on, is the more you'll be more prepared to the NBA game, the better you'll be. Because the first couple of 2-3 years of your NBA career can define your future there. And the more prepared you'll be, the better.
One last question. You're a role model for the Jewish people in Israel around the world. How will you be an ambassador now for Maccabi Tel Aviv for those fans, and what message do you have for them? Different responsibility, but still very important.
Well, it's always taking it into consideration that obviously playing for Maccabi is playing for one of the most respected clubs in the EuroLeague and in the world, and that's a responsibility as itself, and obviously being a part of the Jewish Israeli leaders of this team obviously puts another set of responsibilities for us, for the younger generation. First, obviously, to teach the new players coming into Maccabi what is Maccabi about, the values of Maccabi and the winning strategy and mentality. But also, what are the values that we're trying to teach our young generation of hard work and dedication, of obviously competing at the highest level, but always being humble and staying true to your whatever journey you have in your life. So I feel like this is some of the parts of our role models and athletes, and this is something we're excited about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.